Time to see how I'm getting on batch painting all of those Necrons. Skynet begins. Wait there, I'll be back. Nick speaking, and welcome to this video. Right, today we're going to have a look at the work in progress of me painting all of those Necron models. Before that though, if you would like to keep up to date with the wonders of Warhammer 40k, watch these models progress until they are finished, then please give me a sub and hit the bell button so you don't miss an upload. Right, let's do this. Let's have a look at these
Necrons!
Okay, so Skynet begins. This is the work that I've done so far on these models. This is everything that I need to paint to finish my Necron army once again. And as you can see, most of these models are very old school, with the exception of a Lord and also some Praetorians. Okay, so I started off giving everything a dry brush of Ironbreaker. That's always my starting point. Now you have to bear in mind that my Necrons are pretty old school. They're based on the Necron Codex, the one with the black cover. I'm also using the old Necron fluff for my army. So I want all of these models to look pretty old school, including the Praetorians, which I'll come to in a minute. So because I started painting these a long time ago, on my army anyway, there was no washes around. I didn't even know about washes. So rather than painting everything blocked out silver and then doing washes, I went for the dry brush technique. So you spray them black and then you dry brush them with the silver, and effectively that leaves like black areas in the recesses. It's almost like doing a wash, and I find it works pretty well. I'm going to do that for all of these models because none of my other Necron models have washes on anyway. So it should hopefully make them all look the same. So first of all, I'm just going to show you the Terminators. Now I did do additional coats to the Ironbreaker. So on these Terminators, which are going to be my Immortals with Tester gun, I went in with a Methyl Silver, or this was a new colour called Runefane Steel. So I went in with that colour on them. I didn't make them as shiny as such compared to my normal warriors. That's because Immortals are supposed to be sort of an older unit, and they're supposed to look more weathered. So I didn't go really heavy on the Methyl Silver. I kept it quite slim. Of course, I've still got to go in, do all the fine details on not only these but all of the other units as well. So let's have a look at some of the other units. So we've got the Cryptic Conversion, which I'm using as Orokin. And again, I just went in with the two silver colours. However, all of my characters will end up being gold. It's one of those things, you know, when I started my army, I chose that I wanted the whole army to be silver, and then I, for some reason, said, right, all of my lords are going to be gold, and I've stuck with that theme. So the Cryptic, he's going to be gold. Well, it's not Cryptic, but Orokin. And the Lord, he is also going to be gold. Now, one reason also that I put down the silver before doing the gold is because it makes it a little bit easier to do the gold colour on top of silver rather than the black. Also, there are going to be some areas which will be silver on these guys. So potentially his Void Shield might be a silver colour, just to keep that old school theme. I haven't 100% decided on that, but at least I've got all the silver colours down. So anything that I want silver, it's already done. So now we're moving on to the Lord with his Tomb Spider. So all of my Tomb Spiders are painted slightly different. The second layer is done with bolt gun metal, or I think it's called lead boucher now. So I go over everything with the lead boucher on the Tomb Spider except for his claws, i.e. the front of his hands, and also I did that sort of cage section over the top of his head in the silver colour as well. Also on the side of the Tomb Spider, hopefully you can see that, on his legs there I've got a little area where I went and actually dry brushed black over the top of silver, just to make it look a little bit more worn, as if they were sort of hinges that are just sort of worn out a little bit. So that's the work I've done on that guy. Now let's have a look at the Destroyers. So that's the destroyers, and on these guys I also went in with the lead voucher on the actual destroyer unit itself, but the man that's controlling it had the mithril silver, so I've got like a mixture of colours. It doesn't necessarily make a huge difference, especially on the camera, but when you're looking at it in real life there is definitely a little difference. So what I tend to do is all of my tanks get the lead voucher and all of my normal men get the mithril silver as a second coat, just to mix things up a little bit. Okay, let's have a look at the immortal. Okay, so that's the immortal there, not too much to see. I've of course done the scarab swarms as well, so they're ready, they're going to be on his base making up a little swarm. And that brings us on to the last unit, the Praetorians. So the Praetorians, obviously not an old school unit, a new unit. However, I want to make them quite old school looking, just to match my army. Now, one unit that was in the old school decks was the Pariah. Who, me? The Pariah are not obviously in the new one. However, in my opinion, Light Guard stroke Praetorians are basically pariahs with different options. So I'm going to paint these just like the Pariah units from the original codex. And that was they're supposed to have this nice gleaming, shiny armour. They're quite a new unit within the Necron army. So that's how I decided to go. So I've gone in basically with the mithril silver, but this time, unlike the warriors, where I went in quite gently, with this one I went in a lot more harsher, to really try and make that silver look nice and shiny. So I did that on obviously all of the weapon options as well, as these are fully magnetised. If you want to find out how to magnetise these guys, I've got a tutorial. I'll put a card up now for you to check out. Okay, so that is it. So that's how far I've got. I haven't decided yet exactly what colours I am going to paint all the accessories, i.e. the shields on those Praetorians, the war size, etc. I've not 100% locked that down. What I wanted to do, first of all, is get all of the silver down ready. The next task will be to add some green. I'll probably just work on the warriors because that's the biggest section to do. By the way, Big Mech Dan Skull, if you're wondering, the 5 back warriors on the left hand side are the ones you gave me. I haven't forgotten, those are yours, and I'm going to mark them with something special on the base, so I know which ones you gave me. Right, okay, so that's it for this update. Hope you like how they're looking. Let me know in the comments box below, and I'll see you in the next video. Beam me up.